house flipping could be a very rewarding business, only if you don't make these mistakes. In today's video, I'm gonna show you what mistakes not to make and to avoid in order to make the most amount of profit, flip faster and more efficiently. Here we go. Paola Chapman, welcome back to my channel, and thank you so much to the ones that have subscribed. Thank you so much. God bless you. I love to show you and give you all the knowledge I can give you. And if you are new to my channel, welcome. Love to have you. And we're gonna go straight to the point. So let's start with mistake number one. Mistake number one is usually not doing your homework. I see a whole lot of flippers that jump into it without spending time before making the purchase and not doing their homework by researching the market. The market is crucial. If you don't know about the market, you need to get into it and learn about it, because if you don't, then you're gonna be guessing what to buy and you are gonna make the serious mistake on not knowing your market. So how do we know the market? As a real estate agent, I do have tons of investors that come to me on a daily basis wanting to get a knowledge from my point of view as a realtor on what areas to buy and what will be the best neighborhoods that give the most amount of profit. So what I do as a real estate agent for my investors is doing a competitive market analysis. We call it in this industry among realtors CMA. And what a CMA does is we do make a very, very detailed search of everything that have sold in that neighborhood at what square foot. Basically, we do it per square foot. We give a value per square foot, and how many houses have sold in the last 3 to 6 months. Very important to get the most recent sales because the market changes constantly. Sometimes I have seen it in the 12 years that I have been in this business, changing daily. So what we do is we do that market analysis for you guys, and we will go into detail on all the comparables to the subject property, meaning the house that the investor wants to buy. And we give them everything they need to know, and also the potential of what the value could be after they are flipping it. So it's very important to do this market analysis, even if you don't have a realtor or have a realtor, put them to work to do that for you. If you want to do it on your own, be my guest. I just want to help you out on what to do, help you know the market. So you need to do that market analysis first. And once you are very sure of what you want to buy and the potential of that property in the area, then you go ahead and make that purchase. Mistake number two, not selecting the right neighborhood and area. And I'll give you an example. When the investors call me and say, hey, Paola, I'm done with the flip, put it on the market, let's go and check the area and give me a list price. Then I'll go to the area, and before I get off the car and driving around the neighborhood, I'm going, So what happened in this situation is this investor picked the wrong house in the wrong neighborhood. And it could be the right house because maybe the price is very accessible. But once they flip this home, guess what? This gorgeous swan is gonna be around and surrounded by ugly ducks. And the value of the home and the surroundings will not support the value that you want to get it up to. The net monies that you wanna make out of it. Because the area is surrounded by houses that need to be flipped as well because they are looking really rough. So I have had situations, just to give you an example, of buyers that I take them to these flip homes and they don't want to even get out of the car, and they tell me, Paola, don't even bother. I mean, it might be beautiful inside, don't take me wrong, beautiful work, you can even see it from the outside, but look at what I'm going to be living in. and who our neighbors are gonna be, and how trashy they look, and how unattractive the houses are around. So they really take consideration and really pay attention to the surrounding areas. I have a whole lot of buyers that have children, and if the school district is not the best, they might have a really hard decision to make on whether they walk away from that beautiful home altogether. So it's very, very important that instead of picking maybe more accessible home in price, you really pay attention of what the potential would be. Because if you're picking that house in the ugly duck neighborhood, then the value is not gonna be like you would like to get. So I would advise my investors to do the opposite. Actually look for that ugly duck in the pretty neighborhood. That way, whenever you find that ugly duck in that pretty neighborhood, you can flip it and be very confident that the value is going to be supported by their surrounding, by their surroundings. So pick the ugly duck in the pretty neighborhood, not the opposite. Very, very important. We gotta take everything into consideration: a school district, area, neighborhood, etc., etc. So that's my advice on what not to make a mistake for number 2. Mistake number 3: no permit, very hard to sell, or no sell. And I put it that way because some investors out there, they make huge changes to the property and they don't even ask for permits. They don't even reach out to the county, the city, to do their due diligence on what is required before they make those changes. So what happens if they don't end up doing that? If they want to sell that flip and we run into a buyer that don't have the cash to buy it and requires a loan to be able to buy that flip home, then the seller, not the seller, but the title company, along with the mortgage company or the potential loan person, is gonna ask, show me permits. Show me that you have done it the correct way, that you have used a licensed contractor to flip this house with you, not XYZ person. So if they don't do it properly, they're gonna have a very hard time to sell that property, because one of the requirements of the new buyer, their bank is gonna ask for those permits in order to close on that home. So it's very, very important that you do their due diligence, because this is gonna cost you a sale. Unfortunately, I ran into 2 situations as a realtor in the last couple of years where they didn't have any permits. They made huge changes to this house, and they didn't go to the county, the city, and ask, Mother, may I change these? And when it comes to the sale of the property, the bank of the future buyer of this house asked for it. The seller didn't have it, and the sale fell through, and the buyer walk away from it. So that's a huge waste of time and effort for all the parties involved, and especially for the flipper. Mistake number 4: forgetting to put money aside for a whole lot of expenses coming and maintaining that home. I'm talking about home insurance, I'm talking about property taxes, and I'm talking about utilities. Some people forget that these have to take into account, because this is part of maintaining this home as you are flipping it. So home insurance, everything is going up in this economy now. Inflation is highest I have seen in a long time. So home insurance is gonna be a good amount of money per month, and everything obviously depends on a whole lot of factors. The house, the year that was built, the area, the square footage, everything. So yes, keep in mind that if you want to end up flipping a home, put some money on the side for home insurance. Also, utilities are very important. We're talking about water, power, gas. We need those on to flip a home. If not, how can we flip it? And once you have that potential buyer, that potential buyer is going to hire a home inspector to get that house inspected. So that home inspector will need those utilities on as well. So water, gas, if it's applicable, and power, along with the home insurance. Also property taxes, we need to take that in consideration. Property taxes are getting higher in every state. And obviously they are higher in certain areas than others. And everything depends again on the value of the home when it comes to property taxes. But keep in mind that when it comes to property taxes, you will have to pay a whole year up front. Of course, you're gonna get some of it back because once you close on that home, it's gonna be prorated. So you're gonna get some money back, but still you have to get money out of pocket to pay for the property taxes as well. So again, don't forget property taxes, insurance, and utilities, very important. Also very important, if the investor is not buying this house in cash completely, they're gonna ask for a loan, for a renovation loan that is gonna charge a certain amount of money every month in interest. So very important as well to have that in consideration because some people forget about those expenses. So that's another one, depending on how the investor buys the home. If it's on a renovation loan, definitely have to put that money aside every month until we get it sold. Mistake number 5, underestimating the cost of labor, material, and the time it's gonna take to flip this home. I don't know how many people I have heard, maybe I lost account of how many people I have heard over the years telling me, oh, in 6 weeks I get it done, no problem. Well, we gotta take some things into consideration. What I gotta take, first of all, the weather. We don't know how the weather is gonna be. I have had, even my own projects I have had where it has been raining all week and then everything gets delayed. So weather is very important to take into consideration and add that extra time in case we have bad weather. The other thing that is very important to take into consideration, and I will give you an example of what happened during COVID. Lumber went up, they skyrocketed, like triple the price of lumber during COVID time. The same thing with windows and doors. They were non-existent. One inventory. We couldn't find doors and windows anywhere. And the lumber was 3 times higher than the previous month. So always prepare yourself with how the economy is playing during the time that the house is being flipped and what factors might delay you. Also, as you know, or you may not know this, real estate is like tourism. We have a busy season and a slower season. So when it's really busy, those contractors, if you need to hire a few, some of them might make you wait several days, if not weeks. So always take all these factors into consideration. Economy, outside circumstances like weather, and the availability of those contractors. So the amount of time that it takes, you never know. So always be prepared and be proactive on preparing for that as well. The cost of those materials, I have seen people are buying really expensive materials where they haven't done their homework on shopping around and trying to find something cheaper. What it helped me as a flipper, because not only I'm a realtor, but I am a flipper. I have flipped a few houses in my career. I have a board in my office and I put it on my board every single week because you easily forget. I put the net number of what my goal was to make money out of that house. So that helped me tremendously on not forgetting, because trust me, it's very easy to forget the net that you would like to get out of that house. And when you go shopping and you run into that nice flooring or nice granite and you fall in love with it, then you overspend, and the more you overspend, the less money you're gonna make out of that sale. Last mistake number 6, over improving the property. And maybe I should have put it as number one, but I left it for last to discuss a little bit more about it. A whole lot of people out there is, and it have happened to me as well, we tend to forget very quickly, as I mentioned on the previous point and on previous mistake, we forget that this house is not for us, we're not gonna be living in this house. This is truly and simply a business. We just get into the house, we flip it, no emotions here, or try not to have any emotions, try not to fall in love with things, and move on once you're done with that business and you go into the next project. That's how it's supposed to be, right? But we are all human beings that we fall in love, we get emotional and stuff like that. So that's my recommendation, and it's probably the hardest one out there, and also the most common mistake out there as well, over improving. They get so excited once they start shopping and they see these beautiful items, get overexcited, and overexcitement leads to overspending. So try to get yourself in that objective and put that emotions on the side, that this is not gonna be your home and you're on an objective, on a mission here, that you're gonna spend a certain amount of money, and that's your allowance, and you will not go over your allowance, or at least try not to go over your allowance. And I call it allowance because in my mind it kind of gets it into like, no, you cannot go over, that's it. So yes, over improving a property, I have seen it so many times as a realtor as well. People get overexcited. I go into the house fixing to put it for sale for them, and when I see everything that they have done, I'm like, I wish you could have called me in the middle of the project or at the beginning of the project and ask me my opinion, because there are so many things out there when you're flipping a house that it will not up the value at all. It will not even move the needle a bit. So there are others that will really increase that value, but people don't know about this. And that's what education come into play. It's very important for you to get educated on what items will be crucial for you to flip and make a transformation, because those are the items that are going to increase the value of the home. But careful with the materials and the labor, because people tend to overspend. And sometimes the circumstances, it's not like you want to. Sometimes life happens, but that's the goal here in hand. So just to give you an example, and I can cover this in a different video, what really increased the value of a flip is obviously everything that had to do with kitchens and bathrooms. If you're an experienced flipper, you know this. People fall in love with those two areas in the house, and that's what most of the time, they make their decision on buying the home, because the kitchen is usually the heart of the home, and the bathrooms are, our bathrooms. I mean, we want to have really nice things. So anything that had to do with kitchens and bathrooms, I will tell you, just concentrate very hard on it, because that's what you're gonna up, and the value is gonna skyrocket for you. But we can cover that on a different video. It's just a very small example to give you an idea. So please try to stay on track, try not to overspend, and that's, I will say, even though it's the last mistake that I put on this list, I honestly consider as a mistake number one, because I see it all the time as a realtor. Well, this concludes this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, give this girl a little bit of love by smashing that like button and subscribe to my channel, because every week I'm gonna come out with, or try to come out with, very informative videos for you with anything that had to do with real estate, and also gonna talk about our local area here in Pensacola, Florida, which is our own paradise here. It's gorgeous. Give you everything that you need to know about Pensacola and surrounding areas as well. Until the next one. And if you want to put in the comments here what you would like me to talk about, feel free to do so. I would love to give you the content that you need to get more educated in this amazing industry of real estate. Until next one, God bless you.